Hi, and welcome to Filmmakers Compass Podcast, the show where we talk about movies and World War movies.
And occasionally comic books.
Oh, yeah. Occasionally, actually a lot of things. We've talked about like the Apple Vision Pro, my life growing up in Indiana, our time in college together. There's a lot of things that might come up on this show. I think at one point I was talking to Drucker about sports.
Yeah.
But
sounds right.
CP, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
I really like your color scheme based on what we're going to be talking about.
Well,
now,
you should.
I gotta verify for everybody that's just listening, not watching. Is that actually a Fantastic Four shirt, or are you just rocking Fantastic Four colors?
Oh, that actually says Fantastic Four. It's got the little 4 logo on it.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, I'm glad that you're themed appropriately, which you usually are. So, I'm positive. I'm going to gamble here and say there's 100% chance that you have a Fantastic Four mug. Oh, no, you don't. You have a Indianapolis Colts mug.
I don't
have the right colors. You got the
don't
right
have
colors.
a Fantastic Four mug. Not that big a fan.
Color scheme was on point, though.
I mean, I'm trying. I'm trying, dude.
Blue.
I'm trying not to be the weakest link on this team. not going to mention who is, but I'm just saying at least I wore the appropriate T-shirt.
That's true. I'm still rocking Star Wars. I'm either rocking like a black T-shirt or just a Star Wars shirt. I mean, I feel like.
Or sometimes you're rocking a black Star Wars shirt.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's always one or the other, really. And then sometimes you just meld them together. But before, obviously, we get into our topic this week, which is Fantastic Four First Steps, we are going to do some shout outs. So CP, first up on our shout outs is actually Courtney Kelly on Freakier Friday, which I believe you went and saw and posted a video about.
Of course I went to see it. Come on.
Yeah, for anybody that is actually interested in CP's take on that movie, you can just head over to her social media and he has it posted. But she said, I just really need her plastic surgery budget, LOL, of which CP, you responded, which one? And she said both. They both look great. So
they both being Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis. Yes.
Yeah. So pretty cool. I don't know if you just want to give like a thumbs up, thumbs down on this movie for everybody that's just listening to the podcast. But I mean, I think it did okay at the box office.
Well, yeah. I guess it comes down to this. If you watched Freaky Friday and you enjoyed it, then you will enjoy Freakier Friday. It's essentially giving you exactly what you got out of the first one.
I mean,
cameos from characters from the original. The casting's consistent. It's just everyone's a little bit older and doing the same thing again.
Nice. Well, I mean, promise delivered. So yeah, not mind blowing, but definitely will meet your expectations. So
yeah,
that's cool. CP, now we have a couple shout outs, but they're getting a little bit longer. So we're going to dive in a little bit here. But Ivor said, Predator Badlands is about the Predator now being prey. What if this movie is actually a Jurassic Park movie? The Predator goes up against a future world where the dinosaurs outlasted the humans. I love the idea of crossing genres with Jurassic Park to make something different and interesting. A heist movie? Who doesn't like a heist movie? The Thief, the Heist, love them all. So I think you're right. Dead on. And if that really was the actual crossing of genres, or even for that matter, crossing of IP, and we got Predator and Jurassic Park, I'm here for that too. So that would be pretty sick. I mean, if they just started, I mean, I know they did like, what was it, Alien versus Predator?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they were kind of, it's like Freddy versus Jason. They were doing like the horror IPs going up against each other. But really, I mean, you could get pretty wacky. Like it'd be kind of cool to see like, the Predator versus King Kong or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or versus Lindsay Lohan from Freakier Friday.
Oh, what if Lindsay Lohan and the Predator end up swapping bodies?
Like, imagine if like the Predator showed up in American Pie. Like, that'd be crazy. Thank you for the comment, Ivor. That's awesome. Oh, CP, I got to get your take on this because you're kind of a fan. But Sean jumps in and says, War of the Worlds, starring Ice Cube, debuted at a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. The film's tagline, "It's worse than you think," sums up the entire movie.
First of all, that's a brilliant tagline. Second of all, I wonder if like it's really not that bad, but this is just like a marketing ploy by Netflix to get us to all watch the movie, because I've not watched it yet, but it is something that is on my radar now. And I'm like, all right, we got to see how bad this one is.
I actually kind of agree with you on this take, which is that I don't think I ever would have heard of this movie unless just sort of scrolling through the Netflix library. But because it made headlines for getting 0%, I actually became intrigued and was like, part of me kind of wants to watch it just to see if it's really that bad. And I was like, if that was what they were going for, it might be working. Because imagine you go through test screenings, you get the movie back, you're like, this movie sucked. Like, how are we going to salvage this? You're like, well, let's just make it one of the worst movies of all time and ride that wave.
Dude.
So
What I want to know is who at Netflix was like, okay, I mean, because the original War of the Worlds is a classic, right? Classic novel. The original film
yeah,
it was incredibly influential in cinema and the sci-fi genre specifically.
so much so that
Finally,
Spielberg got it.
yeah, I'm like, by the time they tackle a remake, they bring in the best guy in the industry to make it with Tom Cruise. And then they're like, you know what? Let's just do like a version with Ice Cube. This is gonna be awesome. Like, I don't know who greenlit it, but I'm not, that just seems like a weird decision.
Dude, and I heard they're like fighting the aliens with data. It's like,
What?
yeah, it's like horrible.
Oh my gosh.
And literally, like Ice Cube sitting in a computer the whole time, and he's basically trying to manage a world level threat of alien invasion with making sure that his kids are getting their homework done. And
First of all, like, and also, no offense, but for that movie, like, Ice Cube feels like a miscast. Like
I am offended.
the perfect role for Ice Cube is like Triple X, the Return of Xander Cage, when he kicks in the door and yells, "Someone dialed 9," and then he just starts shooting grenades. Like that is the role I want to see Ice Cube in.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I get that. Um, I don't know. I'd have to see it because sometimes I mean I don't know think they're going for a comedy here, but sometimes you take somebody that's outside a genre and put them in a genre and it can kind of work. It's kind of like a weird alchemy.
Yeah, but that's not how I see Ice Cube, you know? I want to see
Yeah.
Ice Cube in like Friday. I want to see Ice Cube doing the mad dogging people with like the angry eyes that he does. Ice
Yeah.
Cube
No,
sitting in front of
no
a
Vaseline.
computer with some glasses. I don't see him getting angry at people. Like,
Yeah. Just aliens.
true.
But we'll round out our shout outs with Boone, who actually jumps in and says, so the lady and I rewatched every Mission Impossible movie before we went to see the final Mission Impossible, or whatever it is, Final Reckoning. Is that what it was?
Yes.
Yeah, Final Reckoning. We finally went and saw, oh, there it is, the Final Reckoning last night. It was quite a journey watching almost 30 years of Mission Impossible movies. First of all, it was hilarious to watch the tech evolve. The computers from the early MI movies are just laughable. Big monitors, printers, modems, pagers, payphone. Well, the pixelated computer software that says top secret files.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's even funnier because Boone works in like IT.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
to him, this is probably like something that he picks up on like in every movie. He's like, look at these, they ran a dinosaur theme park with Windows 95. He said the movie itself was fantastic, long, but I felt like it wasn't overdone. Story was good, action was intense, stunts were cool, which Tom Cruise and that team is known for that, and really felt like a nice end to the series. I really enjoyed it. So good take, Boone. I actually enjoyed it too. I liked the whole underwater sequence. I thought was really interesting. There was one little bit about that sequence that kind of pissed me off, where he like. I'm going to spoil a little bit of it, but like he just takes off a suit underwater when like a huge part of him being down there is like the pressure. And I was like,
yeah. No, I gotcha.
I was like, I mean, of course, it's Tom Cruise and we're only halfway through the movie, so he doesn't die right there. But it's just, it's just,
True.
you're like, man, you guys made a big deal about this whole thing. And then like, I don't know, he just has to like ditch his suit and you're like, okay. But otherwise, I thought that scene was intense as hell. And I love the, big shots of the ship underwater. And like, it was pretty dope. I liked it.
I mean, I love the movie, and Boone, just so you know, we'll make sure to forward your compliments on to Tom Cruise and Christopher McCurry. I'm sure
Thank
they
you.
are really
Thank you,
appreciate
CP.
it.
Yeah.
But
I always appreciate when you reach out to Tom Cruise for me. Tom Cruise.
did I ever tell you the time I met him?
No.
No, I did.
Where?
So there's a bar in Studio City called Foreman's,
I don't
which
know.
it's like a really cool, like wood, like English pub place. It's got a very cool vibe. Um, a buddy of mine runs a. I was meeting up with a film buddy of mine for this like regular mixer that he does, and we got there early. And
It
Tom
seems like that
Cruise
might be where you'd run into Tom
was
Cruise. Yeah.
chilling at the bar. He was just chilling there, and so he's like,
Nice.
"Dude, that's Tom Cruise." So I was like, "I mean, we got to go up and say something. It's
Yeah.
Tom Cruise." So we went up, and I actually asked him, and I was like, "This is the one way that I know that I could get an answer from Tom Cruise is this." I went up, I was like, "Hey, Tom, big fan. If you could fly any World War II aircraft, what would it be?"
Hey, Tom and flying, right?
Yeah, I was like, this is like his favorite thing, and of course he said it, and I was like, and so we talked for a few minutes, and then I was like, all right, I'm leaving because I don't want to,
I
crowd the
mean, that's
man.
cool. You met him. You know him because you've passed along some stuff that I told you to tell him, but he never gets back to me direct. Always you.
I know. So anyway, there we go.
That's pretty sweet. I don't know. Maybe one day we'll just do a segment with all the celebrities that CP's met through the years. So, well, CP, that actually does it for our shout outs. So it is now time for me to toss it over to you for our box office breakdown.
D-Man, number 5 in the box office, and I believe you have seen it, my friend. The Naked Gun.
No, I didn't go. I was supposed to go.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
something came up related to cars. I had to go do some stuff and I wasn't able to make it, but I still am going to try and go.
Okay. Okay. So that's number 5. Number 4, The Bad Guys 2.
Wow. Stunning.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Does this mean, and let me throw it out here, I'm guessing then that Superman is out of the top 5.
Yes, which I find shocking.
Wow. Okay. That's crazy.
And I'm willing to bet Warner Brothers finds that shocking too. I figured they were going to be in the top. They probably assumed they'd be in the top 5 for a good 6 weeks.
Interesting.
Yeah. Number 3, also a little
Freakier
bit of a
Friday.
shock. The Fantastic Four First
Wow.
Steps. So I'm thinking Walt Disney's a little shocked that, that's down 60% from last week, which it was
Dude,
number 1.
there's a rumbling underneath the Haunted Mansion.
Yeah.
Walt Disney does not like this.
But you're right. Number 2, Freakier Friday, had a $30 million week or $30 million week in the box office.
Nice.
Pretty exciting.
I mean, that's really good when you consider that the budget on that movie, other than just paying the 2 stars, was probably not that high.
Yeah, right.
So that's a great debut. And I'm assuming this might have legs because it doesn't have any direct competition here
Not really in
for
this
that
kind of
genre.
genre. Yeah.
So it might have some legs, might make a good profit.
Yeah. And number 1, also premiering this week, the film Weapons, which I've
Is
heard
that
great things
the
about. I've
horror?
not seen it.
Yeah, the horror movie with like where the kids disappear.
Yeah.
Is that what's his name? Josh Brolin? Was that Josh Brolin? Yeah.
Yes, I think so.
Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting because I have heard good things about Weapons. I know the trailer didn't seem to me to be outside of its own genre of like, horror thriller. It seemed to be um, pretty standard fare, especially going into end of summer, like fall with Halloween coming up and stuff. But how much did it make? That's what I'm curious about.
Ooh, I just closed it. Give me 1 second.
Because 30 million for Freakier Friday, I'd be curious to know what Weapons made as the number one movie. And we're still in the summer. It's only the second week of August.
So far, Weapons has made almost $50 million domestically and
Wow.
about $33 million internationally.
Another movie that's probably
So
going to get into the
80
black
plus
here.
million. Yeah, not bad.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I mean, it's
So,
kind of exciting because, I mean, we had that superhero rush, which was like July. And you could tell we're starting to, phase out the blockbusters. Because what was it? It was like Mission Impossible, Final Reckoning, Jurassic World Rebirth,
yeah,
Superman,
yeah.
Fantastic Four, like all these big major blockbusters. And you can tell like we're starting to transition out of the summer season.
Yep.
But pretty cool. I mean, I think a lot of people, are going to wonder at the end of the day, because it's not done yet, right? Fantastic Four is still in the 3 spot, and Superman's probably still in the top 10. They're both still in the theater, but who ends up with the higher box office? Just because they released like what, a week or 2 weeks apart, and they're obviously both sort of kicking off, like either for Superman, the DCU, or for Fantastic Four, they're kind of thrusting us into the new Avengers era of the MCU. So they're kind of in the same place, and they're comparable. So I'm interested to see how that box office
Yeah. So
finals out.
what's interesting is just shifting over to the international box office. Pretty much Freaky Friday or the Fantastic Four are leading in every international market, which is great for Disney. Now,
Mm-hmm.
couple takeaways. Weapons is the lead in a few of the European countries and parts of the Middle East, but Superman is leading in only one box office. It's the number one movie in only one place,
India?
Brazil.
Oh, wow.
And the reason why I find that fascinating is Brazil is actually the largest comic book market in the world, I've heard. I've actually heard that DC Comics is now shifting a majority of their comic book reach to
Huh.
Brazil, in the sense that Brazil Comic Con is now their major event where they make major
Wow.
announcements. They've shifted most of their printing focus is focusing on the Brazilian market. So, I mean, this backs all that data up with the fact that there is a huge consumer market in Brazil that loves DC Comics.
Brazil also is the only place in the world that has a pocket dimension. No, that's false.
I was going to say that's news to me. So,
Yeah, that's how I go visit Brazil. I just open up my pocket dimension and walk through.
so that's the box office.
Nice. Well, pretty exciting. I'm glad some new movies have cracked the top five. And obviously, like we said, we're transitioning out of the summer season, so it'll be interesting to see what else is coming out in the next few weeks. But CP, our discussion this week is, in fact, looking back at those summer blockbusters, in particular, Fantastic Four: First Steps. And I know you finally got a chance to see it. You were not a midnight show guy for Fantastic Four: First Steps. Um, you were not a guy that sent me the trailer either. You didn't seem that enthused.
No, no, and I'm sorry to disappoint everyone. The Fantastic Four is not my favorite Marvel property.
Mm, interesting. I mean, you seem like an X-Men guy, if I had to
I'm,
pick.
I love the X-Men. I love Spider-Man. I love many comic book, but the Fantastic Four was just never my thing. So, I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, I went to see Freaky Friday, or I'm sorry, Freakier Friday before I went to see the Fantastic Four. So,
Well, okay, so then let's start there. I mean, what were your first impressions then, as somebody who maybe the hype train wasn't, running at full steam? So, what would you give it, like on a rating?
like a six.
Interesting.
Felt
Now,
like a mid-tier Marvel movie.
okay, so you're going mid-tier Marvel movie, and are you comparing that against its current peers, or are you going like the entire MCU?
I mean, probably the entire MCU.
Oh, that's pretty good then. That's actually not bad.
I mean, it's definitely the best Marvel movie I've seen this year, but that isn't really much when the only Marvel movie I've seen this year was the Thunderbolts.
What
So,
about Captain America: Brave New World?
oh, that's true. I did see that one too. You are right. Well, it's better than both.
Yeah, I did actually. I agree with you. I think Fantastic Four it's probably my favorite movie of at least this latest phase, but probably post Endgame. It's going to be up there in my top three, along with like Spider-Man: No Way Home, and I don't know what I'd put it, the two or the three, but I love Fantastic Four: First Steps. I thought it had a lot of the ingredients that we love from MCU Marvel films, and I thought it was pretty fun. I liked the family dynamic and some of the other stuff. So, um, did you like the casting? Because here's the thing. We got to talk about this. This is like the third
Yeah.
iteration in modern comic book movie
In
time.
20 years, we've had three different Fantastic forecasts.
Yeah, did you like the casting?
That was my big hesitancy with this movie. I actually felt that the original Fox cast was done incredibly well.
That's a good point. Fox always casts their movies well, particularly X-Men and Fantastic Four.
Yeah, and I remember watching that movie as as a kid and being like, this is incredible. Like you nailed this perfectly. That was Chris Evans as Johnny Storm, Jessica Alba as Sue Storm,
Yeah.
Michael Chiklis as the Thing, uh, Lone Gifford as Mr. Fantastic, and then Julian McMahon as Doctor Doom. And I thought that was great.
God, I'm
So,
shocked that you named all those people because I'm like Jessica Alba and Chris Evans, and then that's where that ends for me.
and then watching this one and seeing the trailers, I was very skeptical. I was like, I don't know that this is right. Watching the movie, I didn't hate it as much as I was expecting to. I actually, and I know this was the casting most people were most excited about. I thought Pedro Pascal was the weak link in the casting.
Oh, no way.
I mean, that's just my take. I felt like his version of Mr. Fantastic was a little too heady. It wasn't really relatable. It was hard to.
Oh, he was a worrier. He was he's always playing out all the scenarios way in advance, trying to be like, what are the outcomes? And often, he found himself in some predicaments where he's like, I don't know what to do. But I do think maybe he came across, less confident for supposedly being one of the smartest men in the Marvel universe. But
Well, I think it was more the fact that I felt like as a superhero, right?
mhm.
He was missing the charisma that we wanted in a superhero, right? They all have to have an element of presence and allure, and I felt like in this version, I don't know that we really had it.
Oh man, I actually really enjoyed. I liked their team dynamic, their family dynamic. I love that they get together for family dinners, that they're excited that like, Reed and Sue are going to have a baby, they're going to be uncles. There's
Mhm.
this really tight-knit group dynamic that I thought worked really well. But to that end, I will say that it didn't feel like to me each of the characters really had fully fleshed out or developed arcs. It felt like the arc was the family arc.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that that was a problem.
So yeah, it didn't feel like everybody sort of had their individual story. They gave like, the Thing or Johnny Storm, like love interests or at least love interests. Like nothing actually happened, but
Yeah.
that was about the extent of their arcs. Like they didn't really explore it any more than like, oh, they have a crush on this girl or they're.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I know what you mean.
So I don't know, but I thought the family dynamic worked really well. I mean, if you had to pick who your favorite character was, I think I'm going Johnny.
Um,
Clearly not Reed Richards.
I like John. The thing I liked about Johnny Storm in this was he wasn't as comedic as other versions of Johnny Storm. Like the Chris Evans one is very much this rogue. He's kind of this unpredictable guy who likes to have fun, and he's the comedic character. This Johnny Storm wasn't quite as funny, but I thought there was a lot of heart behind him, and part of it is he is willing to sacrifice himself for his
Multiple
family
times.
and the
Yeah.
world multiple times in the movie, which we don't truly get from any of the other Fantastic Four members.
Yeah.
And I thought that that was a good way of portraying him as like a truly heroic character. I like that.
Yeah, he was probably my favorite. I actually really liked the design of the Thing. I thought that was great. Hey, this came up on a lot of other podcasts. Some of the podcasters didn't like that the Thing didn't say it's clobbering time. He didn't say his catchphrase.
But he
Did that
does.
I
He
know,
does.
but did it bother you that he was like so reluctant? I actually thought it worked. I don't know why everybody was hating on it. I thought it
I,
was cool.
I thought it was funny. I thought it worked well too because he acknowledges it. I mean, in this version of the Fantastic Four, right? They are the celebrities that we expect them to be. There is the Fantastic Four cartoon. So I thought that that was kind of a great nod to like what the Fantastic Four were, but at the same time, trying not to make it totally like 1960s cheese.
Yeah, but I loved like they had the cartoon and he literally sees himself like in the cartoon and the character says it's clobbering time, and like I kind of got the vibe that he was like I used to say that, but now it's sort of like a silly, like you said, like of that era, like it's kind of
Yeah.
silly. So he's like, I don't say it anymore. I'm not saying it, but then he finally does, and I thought it was a great payoff. I thought
Yeah,
it
no,
worked.
I agree. I like that.
So, I mean, they set it up to be that way. You kind of know where it's going. Like, oh, I wonder what the moment is where he's going to say it, but it's pretty badass when he does. So I like that. Um, Speaking of the beginning of that movie where they're set up as celebrities, something that I did want to bring up was unlike earlier versions of both the DCU and MCU, both Superman and Fantastic Four pick up where the heroes are already heroes. There's essentially no origin story. So how did you feel about that? And like maybe the fact that this movie sort of subs in an origin story with like a little highlight newsreel or something. What were your thoughts there?
Well, so two things. First of all, the the highlight newsreel. I actually love the decision to set this in a different time period.
Yeah, me too.
The 60s aesthetics I thought worked really well. It was kind of true to form for the Fantastic Four, but I thought it was a nice change within the MCU. The other thing is this: we've had two movies exploring the origins of the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we could pick up as an audience and say, okay, we understand they were in space, they got exposed to radiation, they're now superheroes. What does the world look like with the Fantastic Four as superheroes? So I thought it allowed us to tell a more quote unquote mature story for the team than
I
having
know,
to
but
constantly retread origin story.
yeah, I mean, I think probably the most retread is both Batman and Spider-Man. But I mean, they did the same thing with Superman, where they're dropping us in a world where there's already heroes, already supervillains, and Superman is already Superman, right?
Mhm.
There's a little bit of reference to some of his origin story, through that message from his parents. And in this case, right, we get a highlight reel of the Fantastic Four sort of, before they went to space and how they transformed and became these heroes of the modern era. I thought it really worked. I mean, I thought the highlight reel was a fun way to do it, and it also fed right into that retro '60s style aesthetic. But I
Yeah.
also like the futuristic style. There's a robot and a flying car, and it sort of felt like the Jetsons, or uh,
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
a little bit like kind of the future that Walt Disney envisioned.
Envisioned with like Tomorrowland. Yeah.
Yeah, like kind of that. It's like if that was in the real world. So it was pretty neat. I mean, I really enjoyed that look and feel. And I thought they nailed it overall. I also, CP, I really loved that they not only set this in a different time period, but they also set it in a different universe. It felt
Yeah.
refreshing for the MCU to not have to carry the weight of like, if they're fighting in New York, where's Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Where's Daredevil? Where's,
Yeah.
it felt nice to have like not I don't want to call it a clean slate because I know we're heading towards Avengers Doomsday, but I did really enjoy this sort of like fresh, like let the Fantastic Four be the heroes. You
Yeah.
don't have to connect
Yeah.
everything all the time.
Yeah. And it
So
was nice not having to deal with the repercussions of the rest of the MCU. Great.
yeah, right. Because there's it's a little bit like Galactus shows up and you're like, come on, that would totally be like an Avengers level threat. And if like nobody else showed up,
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
he's gonna come devour the earth. You're like, well, we need the Avengers.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I like that they gave us this sort of alternate universe, which obviously with like the whole multiverse saga and where all this Marvel stuff is going can super easily connect, right? In fact, if you saw the post credit scene from Thunderbolts, you already know that it probably is connecting
Yep.
as quickly as you would think, because we have Spider-Man coming out and then Avengers Doomsday.
Mm-hmm.
So that was cool. But okay, here's another thing. Speaking of Galactus, I mean, what were your thoughts on the villains in this movie? Because Galactus is in a unique place, and we're going to talk about it. And then this is a sort of new version of the Silver Surfer, also from the comics, so not out of left field, but like a new version.
Yeah. I mean, really what I think the only thing we can truly compare this to is the 2007 version of Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer.
Yeah.
And in a lot of ways, this was better. This version of Galactus is actually Galactus. In the other one, he's sort of, we see his shadow at one point, and
It's
he's
like a
kind of
giant
like
smoke
a
buster.
smoke cloud. Yeah, which sucked.
He was on the island and lost.
Yeah, right. Like a huge disappointment for the hardcore comic fans. Now, I actually like that version of the Silver Surfer better than this one.
Oh,
It
interesting.
nothing. I just liked Lawrence Fishburne doing the voice. Right when the
Okay.
Silver Surfer shows up, like with his deep voice, there was some presence to him that I
Yeah.
felt like we didn't quite have in this version. And it's just because Lawrence Fishburne has a very distinguished, a very recognizable voice that, brings presence to anything he does.
Yeah, I like this version. I thought the effects were good for the Silver Surfer, and I thought that uh, the actress did a good job of really asserting presence, particularly that scene where she comes and she's like, I herald your, and it
Mhm.
felt very much like commanding attention. So I thought that was good. Although the backstory for the Silver Surfer in this one, I thought was, maybe a tad weak or like a little one dimensional. Like,
Yeah.
they sort of just explained that, like, Galactus did something and she basically became enslaved. And then you can kind of see where this arc is going once, Johnny sort of talks to her. You're like,
Once
of
Johnny like
course.
builds a relationship.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you're kind of like, I mean, I don't know. I could see where that was going like a mile away.
Yeah.
So even though she literally comes out of left field, uh it didn't feel like it. I was like, yeah, I figured
Yeah.
something like that would happen. But I did actually really I so like I said, I liked just the presence of the Silver Surfer, and I really liked what they did with Galactus here. So obviously he's a comic accurate version. Like if you look at him, he looks like Galactus that you'd see in the comics brought to life, which is
Hmm.
cool. I thought the
Hmm.
voice actor here also did a great
Yep.
job.
Yep.
Pretty intimidating. Definitely made Galactus feel as big as he looks, you
Yeah.
know. And they didn't make him silly, so he came across as threatening to
I
me.
mean, this is a dude who has a helmet with horns and a purple suit. Like that could come off as very
Right.
corny.
It's probably why they made him a smoke monster in the
Yeah.
other one, because they're like,
Yeah.
I don't know how we're gonna do this and not make it come off like some weird dude in a suit. But what my favorite thing about Galactus was they essentially sort of just make him a monster. So unlike almost like a kaiju or a Tyrannosaurus Rex from Jurassic Park, he's
Yeah.
here to eat you, you
Yeah.
know. And even though he does talk and he has a backstory within the larger, comic world and the MCU of, battling Celestials and some of the stuff he's done, I actually enjoyed the fact that it was like, we don't need to think too hard about this guy. It's like a dinosaur's in New York and you have a superhero team who can take them down. You're like, that's really the character at its
Yeah.
essence.
Yeah.
Or a kaiju shows up and it's attacking the city and you're like, oh, we have to stop it. So it was kind of cool. I thought, because Marvel's had a problem where, they have mirror villains
Yeah.
often.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people have said that the villains have actually appeared weak. And other than like Loki and Thanos and I know you don't necessarily think so, but like
Don't say it. Terrible
Killmonger,
villain.
Black Panther, he's a great villain.
He's a terrible villain.
Amazing. We're gonna have a discussion about that on a later episode for sure. But I like here that they're, instead of trying to overthink the motives or this and that, they're like, no, like he's here to devour the world. That's it. And I'm like, okay, I could buy that.
Yeah.
And it also made him incredibly threatening because instead of
Mhm.
him like talking too much or
Yeah.
which
Yeah. Yeah.
sometimes I think villains get monologues and they come across like, oh, I'm gonna do this and that. You're like, nope, guy's here to eat you.
Well, it also kind of works in the sense that like I- every single Marvel movie in recent time, right? Every crisis revolves around some god tier threat, right? This is the
Mhm.
destruction of the world, and we've seen it time and time again. So I did think that it was kind of, I mean, yes, this movie is about the destruction of the world, right? But at least this time it's very simple. It's just, hey, this is just a space monster that eats planets.
Yeah.
Like
So
we don't need to make it any more than it is.
there's one other character that we haven't talked about and is really the focal point of the entire story, literally the crux of this movie, which is Franklin, which is Reed and Sue's son, who the movie basically kicks off with them getting pregnant. And you find out, obviously, if you know anything about the comics, Franklin is very important and incredibly powerful.
Mm-hmm.
But the existence of Franklin, right, changes the family dynamic within the Fantastic Four. It actually probably brings them closer together and more of a
Mm-hmm.
tight knit family. And then there's this sort of like protective instinct that comes in that everybody, they want to protect Franklin. But in two instances in this movie, and we'll talk about the other one in a little bit, Franklin actually becomes a focal point of the plot, which is when they go to space. Sue is pregnant and Galactus recognizes something special with her baby that, again, is just a plot device that apparently would allow him to like no longer be hungry and need to devour planets. So he becomes like this focal point where Galactus is like, fine, I'll spare Earth if you just give up your baby. Right?
Yeah.
Now, first of all, before we dive into that whole debate, did you think the birthing scene went on too long?
Yeah, totally.
It felt long to me. Like, just, I was like, okay, we get it, and I know maybe there was intent, to show, the struggle that is, but it just felt like lengthwise, like you only have so much time. I'm like, we're spending a lot of time on this.
Yeah, right. It felt the same way.
So, but anyway, they sort of create this plot device where it's like, do you sacrifice your baby to save the world, or do you not? And maybe, Earth gets devoured by, a god. So, how do you think they handled that?
um, I we're talking about from a story perspective, right?
Yeah.
Because I think a philosophical perspective is like a totally different conversation. From a story perspective, I did not like the execution. The first thing was I was a little confused. And maybe you can fill me in. Did you get the sense that Galactus wanted to eat Franklin and that would
Yes.
cessation? Or did you, because he talks about transferring the curse onto him.
Yeah. I think my take on it was that he was trying to transfer that hunger to Franklin, that he would be able to take that on, thus alleviating Galactus from having to do
Okay.
that.
Okay.
So I don't know if that means like basically he was like, I'm going to make him the new Galactus, and then
Yeah.
I can go rest. Like finally, I don't have to devour planets.
Hmm.
So I was like, that's kind of the vibe I got. But yeah, I mean, I do, when it comes to the story aspect of how they set that up. I mean, they sit around the table and sort of talk about it for a sec, and then really quickly like shoot it down. So they don't really entertain the idea of actually like giving up their son or what that would mean, right? And for Sue, it's just a mother's instinct, right? She's like, I'm not giving up my kid, and they play it as if Reed will, right?
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
though I don't think he would.
And
He,
she gets mad at him for gaming it out, but I'm like, I mean, honestly, you wouldn't think about saving 8 billion people versus one person. I mean,
yeah,
like, even for a second, be like, I mean,
and but
okay. It
my
is a
point is,
possibility. Like, we got to put all options on the table.
yeah, like, but the point is though that it's like they, instead of it playing out like them actually debating the merits of that, it sort of just becomes a debate of whether or not Reed really cares.
Yeah.
And I was like, they kind of got away from like the actual thing. But my take on that though is I love Sue's speech that she gives to the news cameras and to the city, because I think it really resonates with the theme of the movie, which is family, right? She goes out there and says that, hey, if somebody's in trouble, right, and it's your brother, you help them. If it's your neighbor, you help them. If it's the neighborhood that needs to help, or our city, country, or the world, we help each other. We work together. And because Galactus is coming to destroy the world, she's like, listen, we don't sacrifice our kid. We work together to stop this guy. You know what I mean? And I thought that really, I don't know, it worked thematically for me for the point of the movie.
I thought that, see, my issue was more in like a few scenes previously when they arrive and they have, back at Earth and there's the press conference and Reed is kind of just like, and Sue throw out the fact that like the only bargaining chip they had was Franklin. I was like, that seems like a really dumb PR move. Like the
Yeah,
only
yeah.
people that know what Galactus actually wants is the four of you. So as long as no one says, oh, he wanted our baby, they could easily turn around and say, look, we don't see any way to stop him, but we're going to find a solution, you
Yeah,
know?
I mean, there's two moments of that actually in this movie. Like, one is the Silver Surfer shows up, and I know they do this everywhere they go, but like, I herald your destruction. You're like, you could have just showed up and ate the planet.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Right.
Like, why are you even coming and telling people like in advance? Like, what's even the point of that? It's like, I don't know. We don't like talk to our food before we eat it because we don't revere it that way. So it's like, I don't know, like, why do that? But whatever. To Galactus, humans are probably just like to us, like cells.
Yeah,
We just don't
yeah,
consider it, autonomous life. And
yeah,
so I don't know. That was weird. And then yeah, like Reed shows up afterwards and he's like, Galactus wanted our son and we're not giving up our son. And then everybody like turns on them, which makes sense, right? Because if you're gaming this
yeah,
out, you're kind
yeah.
of like, well, I don't want to die, and neither do the other 8 billion people. So maybe there is some merit to entertaining this idea.
Yeah.
And like you said, it just felt weird because it was like you could have never said anything. No one knows.
Yeah. Yeah,
Just you
right.
four. So like no one will ever know that Franklin was the bargaining chip. And then you could just rally everybody. So, and again, I thought it was weird because not because they said it or that it happened. I thought it was weird because most of the movie, Reed Richards is like gaming out all the scenarios. I was like, you didn't consider this before you went up there and said it. This
Yeah,
whole movie,
right.
you've been thinking about like, whoa, what about like chess moves and what if we do this or that? And you're like,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
was a pretty big mistake, I assume. But okay, so on that note, I want to talk to you a little bit about, I guess I just call it plot contrivances. There are
Yeah.
things within this plot that like it's like for the story to get somewhere, we sort of need this to happen. And a perfect example of that is Reed telling everybody that they want Franklin because it's like the story needs basically to suggest that they are being pressured to sacrifice Franklin. Well, we don't know how else to do it other than just have Reed tell everybody. But then that seems stupid, right? It seems like a
Yeah.
plot contrivance. Like they needed it to happen so this could happen. But really, like you're like, I don't think he would do that, or later, like Galactus comes, right? He shows up on Earth. But for whatever reason, his spaceship shows up like way at the end of our galaxy. And then they're like, he's passing Jupiter. I was like, if he just traveled across the universe, why the hell would he stop over there and not
Stop all
just,
the way out at by Pluto and just be like, all right, we're just gonna cruise to Earth, no rush.
well, the reason is because they
We
needed
needed the
time.
time.
Yeah, they needed, so it
A
becomes a
ticking
plot.
clock for the movie.
Yeah, like, there's other things that happen as well where, sort of like there's a black hole at one point when they're trying to escape Galactus in space. And you're like, I mean, that's kind of convenient. And also, what are black holes doing in Superman and the Fantastic Four?
I guess every screenwriter was watching Interstellar when they were cranking out their first draft.
Yeah. I'm like, oh my God, we're going towards the event horizon. I'm like, listen, I watched Interstellar and you guys, should return to Earth and it should already be destroyed. Like
Yeah, right.
like, come on. They were down on that planet in Interstellar for like what, 7 hours, and then they came back and like 20 years had passed. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
Galactus would have devoured Earth, no question.
Yep.
But even like there's some writing issues there where they sort of acknowledge that they're like, oh, there's going to be time dilation, and then like
But there's
nothing
not
comes of it.
actual real consequential time dilation. It was frustrating. I mean, also like I was a little perturbed to begin with that this is like set in the 1960s. Yes, I know Reed Richards is the smartest man ever.
Yeah,
But in the 1960s, he still has this. And by the way, these are the first people ever to go into space, right?
yeah,
According to the story, and they get up there and they have this like warp speed drive that apparently they had launched before, and they just attach their rocket ship to it, and immediately they're like traversing the universe. I'm like, I I guess it comes back to
yeah.
the fact
Plot
that
contrivance. Like I
I'm,
yeah, okay.
I'm like, okay, we can literally rocket anywhere we want. I'm like, Reed, you're apparently the smartest man in the world and can build anything that we don't even have now. Like, which brings me to like his master plan for, at the risk of spoiling the whole movie, I'm just gonna
Just spoil it.
teleport.
Yeah.
I'm gonna teleport the entire Earth. I'm like, that seems like the dumbest, brilliant idea I've ever heard.
Well, and okay. So again, there's nothing inherently wrong with that idea. Like
No,
that
everything's wrong with it. It's
no, but it's
stupid.
like it reminds me a little bit of like an Avengers Endgame. They're like, we need time travel to work, so we can go back and get the stones. I don't mind when stories do that, where like, Tony's sitting there and the algorithm's running the Mobius strip and then it works and he's like, oh shit.
No,
You
but
know,
teleporting like, why wasn't this brilliant guy his natural idea like, hey, we have the ability to teleport stuff. Why don't we just teleport everyone on the Earth? Why don't we just teleport Galactus's ship as it comes in? Like, I'm gonna teleport the Earth. That was the solution.
yeah, well, and then so the other thing that is odd about that is like apparently they're able to build these devices
In
that can
3 days?
no, it's like 3 months, right?
I don't know. It was way too fast.
Yeah, but they build them like pretty quick. And again, there's a certain plot contrivance to it, which is that when you think about it, Galactus and the Silver Surfer literally show up right when they're seconds away from the Earth being teleported. And then the Silver Surfer, you're like, that was convenient.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
you're telling me they showed up at exactly that moment. Like, that's how well you timed it. Like, you're telling me that you guys couldn't build those things 5 minutes faster.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
like that's nuts to me. Like, I don't know. I don't like when things like that happen in the movies. It just, I don't know, irks me.
It
Like,
feels like happenstance, and you're like, come on, we could write this better.
or like, I don't know, at various points in this movie, like the Silver Surfer travels at like insane speeds and then also slower speeds. But like, there's this sense that the Silver Surfer can go like incredibly fast. And yet, like when they're escaping Galactus in space, their spaceship is flying and the Silver Surfer is following them at exactly the same speed. And I'm like, so the Silver Surfer is maxed out at exactly their rocket speed.
Yeah. So stupid.
Like
So freaking stupid.
things like that's what I think about in the movie. And maybe people are like, D-man, don't think so hard. Just enjoy the movie. But like part of me is like, damn, this Silver Surfer, we saw them go so super fast. Like, I don't know, supersonic. I disappeared in an instant. But you're telling me that literally their max speed matches this rocket's speed. I'm like, that seems convenient for the Fantastic Four. I would think that the Silver Surfer would go straight past the rocket and then can apparently just go through matter and then just go inside and kill them all.
Well, or even the fact that, like, I mean, I was thinking, like, I don't know why this, like, whole, like, hyperspace travel thing bothers me so much in this movie, given all the other science fiction elements. But I'm like, okay, literally, god tier villain Galactus is on his ship, which Reed somehow can detect in deep, deep, deep space. So they get on a rocket ship and fly at almost the speed of light to meet him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, instead of spending the month trying to like fly out there and meet him, and by the way, their whole meeting with Galactus is they literally get on his ship. Galactus is like, give me your kid, I won't eat your planet. And then they try to fight him.
Yeah.
I'm like, this was not like a good plan in any way. But why not just spend the month saying, let's just build like a super nuke and just take him out in deep space before he reaches us?
Yeah. Or, I mean, if they had all those machines spread across the entire world, they could have set them up in a way where you had like a massive portal and they're like, what we're going to do is shove Galactus through it.
Right.
Like,
I don't like, I don't know. It bothers me because I look at it and I'm like, this just seems weird.
no, I mean, but it works to me. Like, there are plot contrivances, but I enjoyed the story. So to me, I don't know. I enjoyed it. So like I don't mind them so much. I'm just sort of pointing out to our listeners like where my mind goes when things like this happen, when I'm like, oh my God, that's convenient. That's what I thought in Avengers Endgame when is it Nebula? She's with
Yeah, yeah,
War
yeah.
Machine and they're gonna teleport back. And like right when she goes to hit her teleporter, like she freaks out. And
Yeah.
then Thanos is able to get her and see her memories. Again, not that it actually matters. Like they could have never been about to hit their time thing, and then War Machine could have just escaped and she got captured. It's just the contrivance of it. Like
Mm-hmm.
you're telling me that it was that close.
That
Like
close. Yeah.
she was that close to just this
I
whole thing.
gotcha. I gotcha.
Like Thanos never being able to travel through the cosmos or through
Mm-hmm.
the not the multiverse, but like time.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. I just don't like when those things happen. But again, it didn't kill Avengers Endgame and it didn't kill Fantastic Four for me. It's just fun to point them out because I'm like, damn.
I
Like
gotcha.
another one is I know you haven't seen it, but like in Star Wars: The Last Jedi, and to our
No.
listeners, let me know how you feel about The Last Jedi because I know that's a pretty divisive movie. But there's a sequence in the movie where they're trying to outrun a Star Destroyer in like a rebel vessel, and literally it's like they say that the ship is far enough ahead of the Star Destroyer that their lasers can't hit it, but they're running out of gas. But the Star Destroyer and that ship are moving at exactly the same speed. And I'm like, you're telling me that this Star Destroyer doesn't have more power to catch up to them, but this ship can maneuver at different speeds than this one can. Like, that's what goes through my head. I'm like, that just seems like a convenient plot device to waste time. Or, Spider-Man 3, when Harry just happens to get amnesia. He
Yeah.
hit his head. And then I'm like, so basically, you just can't have him be around for, 2/3 of this movie. So we'll just give him amnesia and leave him over here. And then when we need him, he'll just get his memory back.
Yeah,
You're like,
yeah, dude, that's exactly how it works.
you're like, God, there's got to be a better way to write this than
Yeah.
just sort of being like, oh, that's how it goes. But oh well, those are just things that, like I said, I think about.
Fair enough. I
So,
don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I mean, I actually really loved this version of the Fantastic Four. I liked the theme of the movie. I actually thought everybody in the cast did a great job. I thought they were all well cast. And so I'm very excited for the future here of the MCU. And in my opinion, this is just me, but this is my favorite version of the Fantastic Four. I know you're probably partial to the Fox version.
The 2015 one with Michael B. Jordan
Yeah. Oh,
and
yeah, that
Kate
one.
Mara, that was my favorite.
Did you ever actually see that?
Yeah, dude, it's pretty bad.
Is it that bad? I never saw it. I heard it was so bad that people were like, don't even bother.
It's one of the worst like comic book movies I've ever seen. And part of it is like,
I want you to say something positive about it. So, is it better than Madam Web?
ooh, ugh. It's kind of on. I mean, I don't. Part of it is like they don't space travel in it; they interdimensional travel in it,
Okay.
and that's how
That
they get their powers.
kind of works
And
too, I guess. It's fine.
Victor Von Doom is like this angry, like
Cloud.
Twitch streaming nerd. Like it was like I don't know. It was a weird movie. I was not a fan.
He'd be better in War of the Worlds.
Probably. I, I really liked the casting in the original Fox one, the 2005 and the 2007. I thought it was a great cast. Again, some of the failures with the movies, I think, were the expectation of what comic book movies were at the time are not what they are now.
Yeah.
And I think had
A lot more
Tim's
monster of the week or villain of the week or
yeah, had Tim's story had that cast, in this day and age with the understanding of what we expect from superhero films, I think it would have ended up being a very different movie.
yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously I didn't see the one with Michael B. Jordan, but I did enjoy the fan. I saw both of them in the theaters, the 2000s Fantastic Four. But for me, this is the version that I liked the most. I think they felt the most like a family. I liked how they used Franklin to set up the future of the MCU. I thought Galactus was incredibly well done. I loved him as a kaiju. And generally, I think, like I said, I think Johnny was my favorite, but I liked all the characters. I thought they all had qualities that make me excited for the future of the MCU. And CP, that takes me to the post-credit scene.
Yes.
So we got it. I think they time jump like 4 years. I can't remember the actual number of
Yep,
years.
it's 4 years.
I think they time jump 4 years. And then when Sue Storm goes to grab a book to read to Franklin, Dr. Doom shows up and he's not wearing his mask, which is interesting given the fact that we know that character is going to be played by Robert Downey Jr. So there's an implication there that we're going to be seeing Tony Stark's face.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, I don't know. But he's there and like Galactus, he's there for Franklin. Now, if you want to maybe elaborate a little bit in the comic books, this is an insane comic story. It's pretty good.
Yeah. I'm not going to elaborate any more than that. It's awesome.
Yeah. So basically, Franklin, Dr. Doom, like uses Franklin's powers to do all kinds of crazy stuff, like really world changing level stuff. And that makes Dr. Doom, by extension, an Avengers level threat. Because obviously,
Mm-hmm.
as we know, especially in the comics, but even in the first, 2000s Fantastic Four movies, sometimes he's just a Fantastic Four villain.
Yep.
But there's so many questions up in the air because Robert Downey Jr. is playing him. So there's like, is he a Tony Stark variant from the multiverse who, ends up being Dr. Doom? Is he
Mm-hmm.
the traditional, Dr. Doom that we're used to? And with Franklin here now, what does that mean for his power level? I'm guessing he's going to be insane.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I
I'm
mean,
pumped. I don't know. Go ahead.
I mean, obviously, I'm excited to see Robert Downey Jr. actually playing Doctor Doom. I was a little disappointed that we didn't get much more in terms of Easter eggs regarding him in the movie. I mean, I know that there's a moment where we do see the Latvia chair at like the UN thing, and it's
Yeah,
empty. Uh,
definitely
but
implying Victor Von Doom because that's his actual origin story, not the variant. So
yeah,
you like a
so
Tony Stark variant, so that
I'm
would
just
make sense.
I just wish that, it would have been awesome if we saw Victor Von Doom do an interview about the, Galactus coming to Earth or something. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I would have
Well,
liked to see Tony Stark for 1 minute in the movie.
I do
Or,
like
I'm sorry, Robert Downey Jr.
I do like the idea that they did that 4 year time jump. Now, I don't know exactly how that's going to play out with everything because Marvel has somewhat of a jumbled timeline, but I like that they time jump because it also allows for my mind to rest of like, where was Doctor Doom when Galactus came? Who
Hmm.
knows? Somewhere else.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know. I
yeah.
don't know what he was doing. But like, if you don't time jump and then he's there and you're kind of like, okay, so he's here. Like, really?
What's
Like,
he doing? Yeah.
yeah. So I liked that. But more than anything, dude, I mean, I think I love that Marvel is back to doing great post credit scenes. You know, it
That's
was like
true. Because
phase
the
four and phase
Thunderbird
five.
one was good as well.
Yeah, the
That was
Thunderbolts was
hinting
awesome.
to, yeah,
Yeah,
Thunderbolts was hinting to the Fantastic Four arrival.
and the new Avengers and the Avengers Tower and like all this stuff, you're like, wow, okay, this is great. Like you watch that post credit scene, you're like, I am so pumped for Fantastic Four. Well, now you watch Fantastic Four post credit scene, you're like, I am so pumped for Avengers Doomsday. And I'm like, that's how Marvel used to be. Like every time they would, like I think one of my favorite ones is like in Iron Man 2, Coulson's like, oh, I have to go to New Mexico. And then they cut to the post credit scene and it's him there. And then they show Thor's hammer. Well, what's the next movie they're releasing? Thor. So I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my God, I'm so pumped for Thor now. And I don't know. I love when they used to do that. And then they got away from it. Instead, it became more about just like straight up character introductions, but not
Yeah.
a path forward. It was just, they just showed people in the post credit scene. You're like, I mean, I guess, I don't know. Are they doing anything or do they just exist
Yeah.
here?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I thought that was cool. But before we, move on from our discussion about Fantastic Four, I got to ask you, are you excited for the future of the MCU and the DCU? Because this is the first time I think both have sort of been firing on all cylinders at the same time. Because, say what you will about the Snyderverse, and I know you love it, but it never, I mean, Marvel was so, if you were to just, rank those two next to each other back at that time, I mean, Marvel was can't miss. Everything is, global hit. And DC's having trouble over here. Well, now they're
Hmm.
back.
Hmm.
And are you excited for both?
I
Or
mean,
neither? I
definitely.
mean,
I'm
maybe
excited. No, I'm excited to see where things go. I mean, I'd much rather have them making good movies than,
crap movies.
yeah, we've had been kind of in a real doldrum for a little while. I think the big difference is finally it feels like Marvel has a plan.
Yeah.
And that's nice because clearly after Endgame, no matter what anyone wants to say, there has been no plan. It's been all over the place. It's
Right.
been start and stop. And I think that's just exhausting for an audience, right?
Definitely. I know I'm pumped for both. Like I love the world that they set up in Superman. I like the idea that there's already other heroes, already other supervillains. I even love the idea that somewhere out there is probably Batman already in Gotham City, maybe with Robin. Who knows what they're doing. But I love this idea that the world's already filled with these people. And so instead of having, straight up introductions, through each new movie, yes, we're meeting new characters in that world, but it's not like, okay, now there's two superheroes.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
No, there's still a bunch out there and there's still a bunch of villains. And I love the idea in like the DCU about how it had that comic booky feel. So like it just gives permission to have, maybe sillier villains or like, I think you and I talked like Clayface. You
Yeah.
could do Clayface in that world. And it would make
Yep.
sense. Like
Hmm.
versus like you can't do Clayface, and maybe I'm wrong. And somebody, I hope they prove me wrong. But are you really going to do Clayface in the Batman?
Or Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight? No.
Yeah, I don't think you
No.
are. And so I love the idea that, and then now I think with Fantastic Four First Steps and where this is leading, I'm just so excited again for the future of Marvel. Like I'm actually pumped to go see the movies because I'm interested in that next chapter.
Yeah, for
So
sure, dude.
if at the end of the day that means that was Fantastic Four First Steps a success, I think it was. I think it's awesome, and it achieved what I was hoping it would do, which is carry put the MCU on its back and be like, all right,
Hmm.
let's go do it. And I'm like, I think both of them nailed that, which is the best part, you know. Because we said like Superman, I'm like, is it the best comic book movie ever made? No. Like Fantastic Four, is it even the best movie in the MCU? No. It's probably mid tier, like you said, or in my opinion, upper tier, but not like the top tier.
Hmm.
And but it did the heavy lifting, so I'm so pumped. But well, CP, before we move on, I
Okay.
actually have and hopefully you'll enjoy this, but I have some Easter eggs from
Oh,
Fantastic Four.
all right, let's do it.
So let me see here. First up, we have the first comic cover. During a montage that recaps the team's early years, so that newsreel, there's a recreation of the cover of Fantastic Four #1. It shows the team battling Giganto, a giant subterranean monster, which is a great nod to their very first published adventure. And then
Okay.
also there's a nod. Obviously, this movie is, the theme is there, but this is also like Marvel's first like team up, or family, first family of Marvel. So
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
cool there too. Um, there were some cameos. The movie features a fun tribute to past Fantastic Four actors. Several performers from the 1994 unreleased film appear in small roles, such as Alex Hyde White, Reed Richards, and Rebecca Staub, Sue Storm as news anchors.
No
Um,
way. That's
yeah,
cool.
Ben Grimm's iconic catchphrase makes an appearance, and the film handles it in a way that they're talking about the cartoon.
Yeah.
I love that it shows up in that cartoon.
Yeah.
There was something so fun. Like it even took me back to like if I used to watch Spider-Man. I used to watch
Those old
Hulk.
70 cartoons. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I don't know, there was something so fun about that to me. And then I love the idea that would totally like it's clobbering time would be like a comic book or a cartoon phrase. But like
Yeah.
you wouldn't hear a character yell that in The Batman or The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I love how they pressure him to, say the phrase. And he's kind of like, guys, it's like really silly.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna say it. I thought
Yeah.
it was great. So let's see what else. What do we have here? Oh, you said this in a scene where Sue Storm's future foundation is shown. Map highlights all the countries that pledged support, and there's one notable absence: Latveria, Doctor Doom's home country, which is a subtle but clear foreshadowing of him within that world. But
Yep.
also, it's confirmation then that he's most likely not a Tony Stark variant; that he is indeed the main character who has that history.
Okay.
So
That's interesting.
yeah, that was kind of cool. Franklin's reading material. The books that Sue reads to Franklin are The Hungry Caterpillar is a clever reference to Galactus.
Oh, okay. I can see that.
And the Origin of Species by Charles Darwin is the book she goes to get, is a
Hmm.
potential hint toward the introduction of mutants in the MCU, especially considering Franklin's immense power in the comics and his connection to the X-Men.
Interesting.
So I
Very
thought that was
interesting.
cool. And then there's two more. Jack Kirby's birthday. The official designation for the film's universe is Earth 828. So
Yep.
ours is 8616 or Earth 616. And it says
That's
this is
the
a
sacred
tribute.
timeline, right?
Yeah. So this is a tribute to the legendary artist Jack Kirby, who was born on August 28th, coming up.
Yeah. Yeah. Very cool.
And then the rocket that they originally fly to space on, or it might even be the rocket that they use both times, but it's called Excelsior 1, which
Shout
is
out
a direct,
to Stanley.
yeah, direct homage to Stan Lee's iconic catchphrase.
Yep.
So
Love that.
pretty cool. And well, that does it for some Easter eggs. I just thought that was kind of fun.
Dude, those are yeah, I didn't realize that.
So I do have just three final questions for you.
Okay, let's do it.
So final questions for CP. Will you be seeing this a second time in the theater?
Probably not. I think the one time was enough. I'll
Okay.
watch it when it's on Disney Plus.
I will totally go see it again. I am, AMC A-list members, so I'll probably try to catch it at least one more time. But it's definitely like, you know, I put on Marvel movies all the time, and let's just say not all of them. And this will definitely be in the rotation. Like I'll be putting this on. On a scale from 1 to 10, how much did you miss Jessica Alba in this movie?
Oh, 10. 10. Solid 10.
Okay. And then final question. Since he is officially now the best comic book movie director of all time, do you wish James Gunn directed Fantastic Four: First Steps?
Wow. So much is wrong with that statement. No, I don't wish that he did.
Oh, yeah. Stick to Superman. Who knows? Maybe he'll direct more DCU comic book movies.
God. Thank you, D-Man. I appreciate that. I really appreciate that.
All right. Well, that actually does it for our episode this week, CP. It was fun talking Fantastic Four in the box office with you. To all of our listeners, be sure to continue the conversations, leave us comments, send us DMs, or, if we are fortunate enough to hang out with you in person, we'll talk whatever movies, because I just love talking movies. So you can follow the show at filmmakerscompass.com, where we have a feed and it lists all of our past episodes as well as all of our social media links, which you can follow at FilmComp Podcast or at FilmComp Pod. You can follow me personally at Big Kid D-Man and CP.
You can follow me at NDCal5. Thank you for hanging out and talking Fantastic Four. We will see you back here next week. Until then, keep watching movies.